Should I do that now?
Go for it.
Yeah, it's whatever, dude. We had I don't know if you've ever met Toulouse. He's a Mobile comic.
I don't think so.
He came on our show and he literally bought drugs on air. He did it from his car and he just rolled up to a drug deal and fucking bought weed on our podcast.
I'm surprised I wasn't banned from Twitch for that. Like, I'm just completely in awe that I was not banned.
So this is live on Twitch. Drop me that link and I'll make sure to share it.
It's twitch.tv/jfunktastic. Let me here, I'll put it in come on, Zoom. What are you doing?
I'll put it in the chat. How about that?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I can't open. Where did they changed buttons in Zoom? Where did the chat button go? Oh,
they didn't change anything, Jason. You're just retarded.
All right, now how do I close chat?
What do you mean? How do you close it? There's a fucking X, bro.
Are you my mom?
Dude, I have like
my mom
85 things going on here. I got Streamlabs going. I got audio hijack going. I can't pay attention to little X's.
Does your Facebook get hacked all the time because you click on mysterious links?
Yeah.
No, Jason only gets on Facebook now to share memes that have minions on them.
What's up with the minion thing?
Oh, I ain't sharing nothing on. Oh, actually, I did share something on Facebook a little while ago. I'll save it for the show. That's kind of funny. It's about Alex Jones. Please tell me you guys know who Alex Jones is.
Oh, of course.
That's my daddy, dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of parents,
well, you know how this works. You've heard the show before, haven't you? Where we just you may not hear the opening music. I don't know if you'll hear it or not, but once the music's over, I'll come in and we'll introduce you, and we'll just go where the conversation takes us.
Perfect.
All right, Jacob, you ready for this?
Yeah, dude. I'm ready.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Head bobbing when the music started. We don't know, but it has.
Ooh, that music can only mean one thing. It is time for the OpenMicersPodcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig. I'm fucking hyped for tonight's episode, dude. I've had COVID all week. I'm ready to
for what, like the 5th time you've gotten it?
Dude, for someone who doesn't believe in it, I've gotten it like 6 times. That's a joke, by the way. Obviously, I believe in it. It's almost fucking killed me.
Well,
I'm having trouble seeing. Like this time, like I can't drive a car right now because I just can't fucking see.
Maybe your diabetes is fighting it off. You know,
I was gonna say you've got all the comorbidity factors, right?
Right, dude.
You're just
dude. Stop licking door handles, man. Especially for public restrooms. It's not doing you any favors.
Look, a man's got to come, Jason. Come on. Anyway,
you need to drop the Mountain Dew and take some vitamin D.
Yeah, no shit.
Vitamin D's nuts, dude. I'm not doing shit. Anyways, that person that you guys hear can only be one man. He's our guest this week. He is somebody who I met doing the Stone versus Drunk versus Sober showcase, which he has won more than a dozen times. He's opened for legit comics such as Robert Kelly, Dave Stone, Eddie Pepitone, fucking so many more people. He's one of the funniest people in all of the Southeast. Please welcome Tyler Arceneaux to the podcast. How are you doing, sir?
Damn, such a great intro to mispronounce my last name.
It's Arceneaux.
Yeah.
Arceneaux Hall.
It is. That's closer, actually. It's Arceneaux. You were close.
Arceneaux. See,
yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Louisiana people have pretend names. Let's argue.
It's so true.
You know what, Jacob?
EAUX.
I might be old, but at least I can pronounce people's fucking names on the show here, you know?
Look, you're lucky that I booked the right Tyler Arceneaux Hall, okay? Because we've done that in the past where I've booked somebody and I looked them up and it was the wrong person. It was like someone more famous also has their name, and they were like, "Yeah, I didn't do any of that."
Yeah. The if you Google me, the first result is not me, but it is another Tyler Arceneaux who is an actor with less Instagram followers than me. So I don't know how that works, but I'm not the number one Tyler Arceneaux apparently. So that's like my goal for the end of the year is to be number one.
Yeah, that
Be
is
the best Tyler Arceneaux.
that is not a common name too. Like, how does that
Right?
happen? Like, I had to
Yeah.
when I registered for IMDb and stuff for my acting and everything. I had to actually use my middle name because there's like 50 different Jason Robinses that work in movies, like all the way down to like craft services. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can't even have my own fucking name.
So is that why you're Jerome Robbins on IMDb?
That's why it's hard to look me up because I got to use my full name.
Jason Jerome Robbins.
Jerome.
Whenever I was younger, a Tyler Arceneaux who has my middle initial and is the same age as me died. And I had so many phone calls that day. Just people like, "Are you dead?" And I'm like, "No, you called me." I'm
Oh, you know what's
You're-
fucked up?
Right.
That just reminded me. Penn Jillette was talking on his podcast the other day, Penn Sunday School. His very last text to oh crap, why can't I think of his name? Was Full House Dad.
Bob Saget.
Bob Saget. He had heard that he died, so he texted him, "Are you dead?" And like that's the last text he sent to him, and that's like enshrined forever. He's like, that's fucked up.
Also kind of sus, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever they're reading those texts, it's like, "Whoa, why?"
Oops.
Penn, where were you that night, buddy? Are you dead? Just wanted to make sure.
That would suck.
Man.
But dude, I feel like naming people in Louisiana is weird because like all the comics I know from Louisiana have the most simple first name and then just like the most fucked, like all the vowels, fucking alphabet soup last name, like Tyler Arceneaux or fucking
Yeah.
Joey Thibodeau. Like
That's 100% right. Joey Thibodeau, also a comic in Lafayette, Louisiana. So
Yeah.
you just pick a white first name and add a Cajun name to it, and they're probably a comic in Lafayette.
Probably, dude. My fucking favorite Lafayette comic is probably Tony Satry.
Big fan of Greg Boudin.
Greg Boudin.
Brian Gumbo. That's Gumbo with an EAUX at the end.
Yeah,
always
right.
that's standard, isn't it? Everybody in Louisiana has to have the last name EAUX.
Yeah, and then when you don't see it, it's like, come on, man, what are y'all doing?
Why did that come about? Like did someone just get off the boat and just decide to change everyone's name to that, or
Well,
is
they
that like
couldn't.
from an old country?
So there's like a story that we're told. I don't know how true this is, but it's essentially that the Cajuns couldn't sign their names. They were illiterate for the most part, couldn't read or write. So they would just, whenever it came time to like sign documents, whenever they got kicked out of Nova Scotia and sent down to Louisiana, they all came off the boat or whatever and put an X. Right.
Okay.
So people's like, I don't know how that turned into starting to leverage the X, the silent X. But there's a legendary comic out of our area, Lane Loyon. He's in Colorado now, and he would say that Cajuns were the original X-Men. So that's what I go with.
Well, it's
So
definitely
not
where
much
all
has
the
changed.
it's definitely
with the
where all the
literacy.
it's definitely where all the
Right,
genetic
right.
mutations have come from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. We've got fucking the Cajun X-Men. You've got Gator Boy, Swamp Lad.
Now that's an X-Men
Uh,
movie I want to see.
So Gambit is actually a Cajun X-Men. I mean,
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
shout out to Remy LeBeau.
Oh yeah, dude. Gambit and Jubilee, man.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Rogue, right?
Rogue is from Georgia? I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't know my lore.
It's all the same to everyone but us.
The South, right?
Yeah, right. It's like I don't know, man.
Oh, so we
I
were
just
talking.
consider everything north of I-10 Yankees, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Oh, for sure.
that's a whole different country up there. But we were talking about before the show. I wanted to what you guys thought about this. Alex Jones. The only thing I posted on Facebook, because I don't post on Facebook anymore. I shared this thing that Alex Jones said, where he said everybody that signs to a record deal has to pledge themselves to Lucifer. I was like, sure as hell
Correct.
did. Devil horns. Like I don't
Was that
remember.
like, is that just a clip?
I guess so. I don't know. He was like he was a guest on somebody else's show. He was talking about how everybody in Hollywood and people who sign record deals have to pledge their lives to Lucifer.
Oh, so this wasn't like a metaphor. He wasn't like making like a metaphor for
No.
signing over your soul. He was actually saying this is a thing that these fucks do, right?
Yeah, they actually believe
So
Lucifer exists, and
It's
they
so
have
extra, right?
Yeah, like what the fuck is wrong with him, man?
So extra.
I mean, he has a point, though, right?
Well, if you think about it from a metaphor perspective, yes, but you know,
I mean,
I mean,
that's
this
true.
isn't supernatural. You know, that's not everybody
That we
needs to make
know
a deal
of.
with the crossroads demon.
So what,
That
Jacob,
we know of.
if Satan himself came to this show or sent us an email and said, "I will make you your podcast the most popular podcast on the planet, and you'll get
Yes, next
paid
question.
millions of dollars, but you have to pledge your soul to me," how fast
Yeah.
would you sign that contract?
Dude, I mean, it would be all F's in the chat for your boy because I'm going straight downtown.
Oh, dude.
Like,
Because think about it. Hell's got to be better than heaven because heaven's full of people like fucking Jerry Falwell. Like, there's nothing to do up there. You're not allowed to smoke weed or drink.
dude, I'm already in hell. We live in fucking conservative Christian South Mississippi. Like,
Yeah, and the humidity's like 110%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't breathe and there's nothing to do. I'm in
at least
hell.
at
Give me
least
the
hell
money.
at least hell's gonna be a dry heat.
That's
you
what
know?
I was going to say.
Yeah, right. At least in hell, dude, I can just go outside and fucking barbecue some ribs while I'm
Yeah.
suffering for eternity.
I mean, you think they have open mics in heaven? Probably not.
No. And then if they do,
They
you're not
definitely
allowed.
they have the worst open mics in hell, dude.
I
They
call
have
those
just-
daiquiri shops.
Yeah, right. It's just like all fucking coffee shop, like poetry
Yeah.
slam open mics.
Oh,
Like,
my
hey,
God.
It's like, hey, Satan, just because they let you put up a PA doesn't mean you should, you know? That's the worst. I'm sure y'all have done a ton of shows like that too, right?
Yes.
Where it's just like, surprise, there's no indication that comedy was happening. Everybody in the bar is like just as surprised to see
Yeah.
somebody setting up a PA and start talking to them.
Oh, those are the best. When you show up to a show, nobody knows comedy is happening, but you're supposed to make these people laugh who are not there for comedy at all. That's just the best.
Recently, this happened to me, and this is a running theme with daiquiri shops in Louisiana because daiquiri shops are on every corner, right? So they have like set budgets for the night, and they'll have $250 to give to an artist or whatever, and they don't really care whether that actually brings in people or not, right? So you get a chance to just have a $250 showcase at a daiquiri shop, but nobody wants comedy there, but the bar doesn't really care. But it's just a nightmare. Recently, I was being heckled as I was being brought to the stage. So like before I touched the microphone,
That's the
I was
best.
engaged with a heckler, and I just felt so defeated. And as a matter of fact, the host handed me the mic and walked up to this dude and started bowing up on him like they were gonna fight. And like I hadn't even said a word yet. I'm just like, this is how my set started. It was actually completely crazy. At one point, the dude turned to me because I just went like, sometimes in that situation, I just go roast mode, right? Like I'm just gonna start making fun of you. This dude looked like he coached at Sulphur High. We were in Lake Charles, which is just like trash part of Louisiana, but I shouldn't say that. There's good people there, but I just went roast mode, and he turns to me and he goes, "You shouldn't do this for a living." And I'm just like, this is man, he's right. But by the end of it, I eventually just kind of turned it around on him and was like, because he did this stupid thing where he's like, "Isn't this a free country? Can't I say what I want?" And I was like, "Yes, sir. You see all these other people that are like watching comedy, waiting for you to shut up," and that kind of got like a round of applause for whoever was there, and that kind of got him to shut up. He eventually bought the bar around after the show to like make amends, but everybody hated this guy so much nobody took the shot. So he's just like drunk, passed out on the bar with like 30 shots that he bought right in front of him. It was like just serendipitous, just beautiful moment.
Oh, that's
Oh my
fantastic.
God, dude. I can't hold a grudge. I would have took 30 shots. Like, these are all paid for? Fuck, dude. All right.
Yeah,
Call
well,
an
it's just
ambulance.
funny that he tried to have a redemption arc, but it got denied. Like,
Yeah, right. It's like, you're no Vegeta, sir. You're not going to come back in season 2
right.
as a fucking anti-hero. You're going to stay right where you are. We're cutting off your tail, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I just don't
That was the
understand
first time-
people. Do you feel? We asked a lot of comics this. Do you feel like people go to comedy shows now specifically to get pissed off, or like heckle and
some
be shitty?
people, I think some people just actually are that selfish and like they don't really get it, right? They don't get that they're ruining other people's time. I think that's the part that people are completely clueless about, is that they're actually making the show worse for all these other people because they're having a ball of a time in that moment, right? But most of the other audience members in those awkward moments are not enjoying it. They just wish that wasn't happening. So
Yeah.
it's such a selfish way to be. I think it just says a lot about that person individually. But whether or not people are looking to be upset, I mean, recreational outrage, I think, is a thing. We're all getting kind of bored.
Oh, if I ever make a comedy album, it's going to be called Recreational Outrage.
Yeah, it's the best way to describe it, right?
So that's perfect. Like that's 100% truth.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel pretty blessed though, man. We don't run into a whole lot of nonsense. Every now and then you have your story worth telling, like what I just had, but other than that, I honestly feel like we're in a golden age of comedy. More people making shows happen in places that comedy wasn't happening before. More comics that deserve stage time getting a lot of stage time. I really feel like coming out of the pandemic, people were looking for comedy and they didn't know it. So a lot of people are discovering it right now. So it feels pretty good, at least in my area.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I would almost take like a rowdy crowd and venue any day that I can just like actually fuck around and play with over like the uptight, like coffee shop crowd. Because I did a show one time in New Orleans that was at this like upscale, like kind of gourmet restaurant where they had like wine racks and fine cheeses, and the showroom was in the back, and people had to take their fucking $25 dinners and carry it themselves to the back where there's a fucking PA and me talking about like my fucking girlfriend's dildo into a microphone and shit while they're eating charcuterie boards. Like, it's just, I don't mesh well with that crowd at all.
Right. So you'd rather take like the rowdy daiquiri shop than that. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Even though I would probably end up getting a fucking fist fight in the daiquiri shop.
I don't mind a rowdy crowd as long as they're enjoying themselves and having fun and not like they can interrupt the show if it's entertaining. Like if you can play back and forth with them, that's okay. Yeah. But like Jacob said, like if it's like it always ends up being the places that I'm scared of when I first walk up. Like, you walk up to a place and there's like, if there's chicken wire in front of the stage, I'm probably going to have a good show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the last show that I did, there were bars on the windows. And it was a concert. There was like, it was all bands. I was the only comic and I was hosting, bringing up the bands. Nice. And I did like a tight, like 7 minutes up front. It was one of the best sets I've had in a long time.
Like, yeah, and that doesn't always work, right? Because those people aren't there for comedy.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah. So for you to be able to do that, yeah, that's pretty impressive. sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I find that as those music medley shows work as long as the comedy is like it's announced and like people are expecting it. But yeah, it sounds like you like the uncertain nature of it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun to have people that you can riff off of or
Yeah.
turn something around on or have fun with. But if you're just getting talked over, you might as well hang up the mic. Like if
Yeah,
everyone in the bar is just talking
right,
to each other.
because that's how people watch music
Yeah,
is, they talk to each other, right? So it's such a big difference. I'm getting kind of spoiled because we have such a good club in Lafayette now, Club 337, which is ran by JP Leonard in Lafayette Comedy.
never
It's
heard of
such
him.
a strong room. I think he's been on this show, right? I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Yeah, episode 38 or some shit like that. Yeah.
Such a strong room. Like it is honestly my favorite room in the whole entire state. And it brings the people in and they sit down and watch comedy, and kind of like what Jason was saying, they're rowdy, they're loud, sometimes they're interruptive, but it makes for, when you're a good comic, that makes for great moments, right? Nobody's getting kicked out. That very rarely happens. So but they're there for comedy, and that's what's important, is just being there for comedy and wanting to laugh. Yeah, man, I love it. Like I said, I'm such a nerd for this stuff right now, honestly.
But I've
I
always
just I
been of
can't
the
stop.
mind that that comedy and rock and roll kind of go hand in hand. And if you have a show like where you're playing or opening up for like heavy metal bands, like if that would be like the hardest crowd to win over, but if you win them over within the first minute or so, you have lifelong fans at that
Yeah,
point.
or
Yeah, for sure.
punk too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I feel like punk
100%.
fans are like they would love at least my style of comedy.
Yeah.
At least what I got.
Yeah, they would for sure. What do you think is like the rowdiest venue or show that you've been to in a recent memory?
Um, the rowdiest in like a negative way.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely that daiquiri shop that I kind of described. But that I've done shows like that multiple times where it's like the people right next to you at the bar and the bar staff does nothing to help you.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh yeah.
bar staff is talking loud, taking orders. The people at the bar are taking loud orders. Even if those people are like sometimes looking at you, there's like such a disconnect. They don't understand that it's, we're in such a small place sometimes that you just speaking at a normal level of volume will completely just overtake whatever's happening on the stage. And like it takes a level of skill and seasoning as a comic to make the decision, like, okay, do I address this? Do I try to stop them and make it funny? Do I talk louder? Like there's a lot of decisions to be made on the spot, and it really just depends on your level of experience and whether you can handle it. um but daiquiri shops, that's my answer, man. Anytime we're like, surprise, comedy's happening here. And it's just some coaches after like a high school football game drinking beers, and they had no idea that I was going to be talking about, feet fetishes with my mom, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing worse when you're playing like a little small place and like the bartender should know to try to to be like as quiet as possible.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's when they're the
Oblivious.
loudest. Like this is not a rock show. You don't have to scream at the top of your lungs to take an order when the bar is like 20 feet by 15 feet. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to happen like that.
I run a Tuesday mic, and we have that where I like the staff, we have conversations with them where we're like, hey, keep it low, help us keep it low. And they're always about it. And we have this conversation every single time. They're always about it. And then they still just ignore it. Like like the ticket taking is right next to the stage, and they're just talking full blast at the people who just walked in, like during somebody's set. And we'll be like, hey, keep it down. And they're like, oh, sorry. And then right back to it. Like, I don't know if it's obliviousness. Like, I don't feel like they're being mean. Like they don't get it, right? And some people just don't.
I just like they're tearing tickets, and all you hear is, "Yeah, it's a comedy show. Be quiet."
Yeah. There's always a lot of like shh, shh, shh.
Man.
Yeah.
So when we met at what you describe as a very weird stone versus drunk versus
Yeah.
sober
Yeah, I do think it
in
was.
in South Mississippi. You've done that show. How many times have you done that show? Because I know that you've won like 13 times.
All right, so I've won, who's counting? 14. But so I've done it because most of the time when you win, you get invited back to open up for the next show. So it's like you're not competing the next time you come back. It's not like winner stays on or nothing, but you get invited to come back. So I've won 11 of them with Lafayette in Lafayette, and probably 8 of those I got invited to come back. And the other ones I didn't because they were like the Mardi Gras show or something where you just don't get that. But so well over 20 times, close to 30 probably, that I've been on Stone Drunk Sober, competed in it 16 times, won 14.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, so I've lost twice. I'm sorry, I've lost 3 times. I lost the very, very first time I ever did it.
What team do you frequent? Like, do you frequent like Team
All of
Drunk
them.
or Stoned? Just all of them?
Yeah, so I've done all of them. The team I've won the least on is Sober. Sober's hard. You have a lot to overcome being sober, because the crowds automatically doesn't think you're cool. So
Yeah.
like just the nature of the show is so fun. You know, Sober has a lot to overcome, which is why when the order's built, Sober goes last. It's Stone Drunk Sober, Stone Drunk Sober. So Sober gets to go last because going last, you do have the advantage of being the last person the crowd saw. So if you kill, that's what they're going to remember the most. So I've won on Sober a couple times, but Sober is hard. My favorite is Team Mardi Gras. Team Mardi Gras is kind of choose your own adventure. Yep. Well, I wasn't going to say that because it's not true, but it is very psychedelic is all I'll say. Yeah, so pretty deep. Me and my buddy Ken have been, me and Ken Edwards have been Team Mardi Gras 5 years in a row. We just won a couple weeks ago. We won our fifth year in a row doing it on psychedelic. So crazy experience, but also it's like having superpowers. Like,
yeah,
it's
you literally
really
think
is.
You have superpowers.
It feels like it.
You literally think that you're one of the Louisiana X-Men.
Honestly, I contribute a lot of my growth to Stone Drunk Sober, because what it did was it made me want to have a tight pin. Whereas before, I didn't really, that wasn't, you know, I understood that like you need 5, you need 10, you need 15, you need 20. But like Stone Drunk Sober is a 10-minute showcase almost every single time. So it really made me want to craft a very tight 10. And then to craft another tight 10 or take a different 5 and make that a different version of that same tight 10. So it made me look at comedy in a different way, where I was trying to write the funniest things I could within 10 minutes. I wasn't doing anything but writing tons of tags. Like when I'm writing jokes out or making notes, every single thing I say has to be a punchline, or else it doesn't really make the joke. Like it's almost every single sentence is a joke. And so I started writing like that a lot more. And I just kind of increased like my laughs per minute. That's kind of a funny way to talk about comedy now that I'm talking about it out loud. But I think that's exactly what I did. And it just kind of made me like a kind of a fan favorite. That's like a weird way to talk about myself too, but I don't know. I guess it's true. I really do.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, I just it really helped me. Like that's why I tell all the new comics. I was like, the first thing you have to do is build 5, and then you have to build another 5, and you have to have a tight 10. Like that's what you need to start with to get on showcases. So really just focus on crafting a 10. And Stone Drunk Sober helped me craft a couple 10s, right? And now I'm in such a better position now doing bigger spots. And I owe a lot of that to just the work that I put in on Stone Drunk Sober.
Yeah, that's such a hard showcase to do too, because like I've only competed in it once, but in order to win, I feel like I had the best set of the
You
night.
did.
I did.
I'm here to agree with you.
I did the most that I could possibly do, but I still didn't win because
Yeah,
that's how hard the competition is.
yeah,
Because there were so many other solid comics, and the
right.
partner that you get might not be on the same wavelength that you're on.
It's so true. I've been blessed with some really good partners. Um,
So I haven't
but
done
also I've carried a show.
Stone versus Drunks versus Sober. How does it work?
So you've got, you essentially need to play your part. Like in the spirit of the show is you're assigned, like you should be taking people out of their element, but the showcase has been going on so long that that's not really something that you have to do anymore just because we've done it so much. But you put people on teams. Once you have those teams established, you have Stone Drunk Sober, and you pretty much got to show up at the gig in the state that you're expected to be in. And if you're drunk, you're going to be at a bar more than likely, so you can keep drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is with comics; they smoking all the time anyway. So some people will take edibles if they're on stoned, and then the sober people are like drinking coffee and Red Bulls. You'll see them drinking water. And you just get in the spirit of the show, right? And it's a showcase. So everybody's doing 10 minutes in order: stone, drunk, sober, stone, drunk, sober. And then at the end, everybody goes back on stage and the audience votes for the winning team. So that's always a fun part too. And depending on where you are, when we first started, we would do like a pass the mic where at the end there's like a riff session with all the comics. So you get like one last chance to kind of win over the audience with some riffing. We kind of stopped doing that, but in New Orleans, the winning team gets the microphone and they get to give victory speeches. So that was something that was really cool I got to do recently. I didn't even know it was going to happen. They just handed me the mic and was like, here you go, give your victory speech. And it was really fun. I just started messing with the audience. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward showcase. And sometimes you're going to have guest spots up top because, you're trying to hit that hour and a half, hour, 45-minute showcase mark. So you've got a couple people opening, and that's typically the people who won before.
Mm-hmm. See, I thought so. It's not like a theme or anything you have to stick with for your set. You just kind of go up there with your own set.
You're gonna do whatever comedy you're doing, whatever your thing is, right? Which is what was so beneficial to me is I really got to kind of learn about myself through doing these shows.
So do you get to pick what team you're on, like stone or drunk or sober, or do you get
so
assigned?
it's really up to the producer, right? The producer will reach out to you and be like, hey, you want to be on this show? Okay, do you have any problems being any of these? Do you want, you'll get asked especially because we're booking people from out of town sometimes. So what you want to do is you want to put one of them sober so that they can drive home.
Yeah.
Right. Because so you're always trying to accommodate people, and some people can't smoke. Some people don't drink anymore. Nobody's trying to rob anybody of the chance to do a showcase. So, it's very accommodating.
See, I was always kind of worried about asking to do it because I didn't want to get like assigned to stoned, because if I go on stage stoned, it's not going to be good for anybody.
Right. So, but sometimes that's the spirit of the show. But like you said, sometimes, you already know without a doubt that's not what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you wouldn't be forced into any kind of team specifically.
Yeah, I feel like there's a strategy too in the way of like how drunk or stoned that you get. Because the only requirement that I was told when I did it is you have to have one full beer before you go on stage to be on Team Drunk.
Right.
And I decided to have 8 and just go fucking 3 sheets to the wind and
it was incredible. Drunk. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen, so I mean, we have epic drunk moments. There's a epic one with Maggie Shipley. She's like a staple of the Lafayette comedy scene. There's this just picture of her making like angels in the rocks outside at Beer Garden after her, like she like fell off the stage during her set or something. There's I'm not going to drop any names, but there's been people who got too drunk in a bad way and for lack of a better term, exposed themselves.
Oh, hell yeah,
And
dude.
they didn't they haven't been back.
Anybody vomit
so
on stage because they're too drunk?
absolutely throw up, maybe not on stage, but people have definitely like done the Triple H on stage too, which is not a good way to win over the producer. That's for sure. But yeah, somebody took a beer and chugged it and just spit it up into the air one time. And, kind of depending on where you're at, that might not be the best thing to do. But yeah, team drunk. It's the spirit of the show, man. And it can happen. It can definitely happen.
Yeah, I know that I was definitely one of those stories. I was gonna have one more beer before I went on stage, and I decided to wait. And right after I got off stage, one of the comics from Team Stoned wanted to chug a beer with me. So we poked a hole in it with our teeth and shotgunned it. And then I just fucking spewed all over the rocks at the side of the stage right after my set, dude. It really is the one of the most fun showcases to be on as a comic, because like it's so much fun, and you get to hang out with so many fun people who are like in the other teams. Like it's not that competitive at all.
Yeah, and we're selling like 150 tickets to that show now, and it's like it's a local showcase. We're not drawing national names or anything. Just the name of the show is bringing people in the door, and that's how fun and that's how incredible it is. I can't say enough good things about that.
It's a great name, and you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like you see that and like I want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you've opened for Robert Kelly before, but Robert Kelly's coming back to Lafayette,
I
and you're opening
know.
for him again. How
I
fun is that,
know.
dude?
And I gotta tell you, man, a little bit of it, I feel like it's redemption for me too. Okay. I didn't bomb. I didn't have I honestly didn't even have a bad set. I had a good set by anyone's standards. But I made a crucial mistake that I needed to make so that I could learn a lesson. I cut my hair, I trimmed up my beard, I wore a dress shirt buttoned up, and I did not wear a hat. And I felt like such a fraud the entire time I was performing. It wasn't me. I never dress like that unless I'm going to like a funeral or a wedding, right? And it I felt fake. And it bugged me and it ate at me. And I watched the video and I could tell by my delivery, like, like my jokes are hitting, but there was something missing. And it's that I didn't feel it. I did not feel good. I felt like such a fraud because I decided to like snazzy up for this show. Never made that mistake again. Huge lesson learned. So I cannot freaking wait till this weekend because it's like that's like a little redemption story for me. So I don't tell a whole lot of people that, but it's a nice little lesson learned. Like be yourself because that's more important than anything else. So I'm gonna be wearing my backwards hat and I'll have a dress shirt, but it's gonna be unbuttoned and it's gonna be rolled up. You're gonna see my tats. I'm gonna be me. So I'm super stoked.
That's awesome.
Bobby Kelly's amazing, by the way. Just absolutely incredible. He creates a little like his special is called Killbox, right? And that is such an accurate term for what he does with comedy. He creates a little box and he just murders you over and over again the whole time you're in it. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite comics working today. And he's changed so much too, like since the last time you opened for him, I'm
I
sure.
know he's half the man.
Yeah, he's a completely different person, and his comedy is just so much more fucking honed and crafted even more after 30 however many
It's
years of
crazy.
doing it. Like he's
Yeah.
just constantly getting better.
Well, he's a testament to being true to yourself too, right? Because he never tried to do anything different, which is one of the reasons it took him for like he never molded himself to be successful, right? He just always did his style of comedy, that New York comedy seller, dirty, fast, have to make them laugh every 10 seconds. And he's so freaking good at it. It's incredible.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
when
a
you've got a
big
style
thing.
that you're perfect at, even though, it might not hit like huge or anything or mainstream, eventually you're going to find that audience that
That's right.
that it does work for, no matter how long it takes. Because I would never want to try to sound like somebody else, or always try to find my own voice to say things. Like, I would never want to like do anything just to try to be like mainstream.
Right. Yeah, and I think there are some people who do that.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot.
Like, Bobby's somebody that like Bobby's don't work clean. I know he had some late night sets and stuff, but he don't work clean. But there's a lot of comics who like they're like I work clean because it's easier to get booked, get more opportunities, which is true. I can't do it, y'all. Matter of fact, you asked me what the rowdiest show. One of the craziest experiences I had recently. It wasn't rowdy, but it was really surreal moment because I'm not used to like hitting a punchline and not getting nothing back. Like maybe at an open mic when I'm trying new shit out, but like this was in front of 100 people, but it was an older crowd and it was a charity. And the other comics I was with were real clean. And matter of fact, I'll tell the whole story from the beginning because it's so funny. This guy, he's a great booker, awesome guy, I love him. He takes good care of me. Jacob Guidry out of Lake Charles, awesome producer. He reaches out to me to do this show, and I was like, dope. He hits us up like the day of the show, and he's just telling us, he's like, hey, I just want to let y'all know I chose y'all because y'all are some of the most professional, cleanest comics I know. And I was like, surely you can't mean me, right, Jacob? Like, what? And he was like, nah, I mean, you're not like the filthiest. And I'm like looking at my set list like, what? So but I double checked with him. I was like, you don't expect this to be clean, right? And he was like, no, you don't have to be clean. Well, if I was clean, I would have had a better night. It's not that I didn't have a good night. I did. I opened up with some riffing. I got him on my side, but there was a couple joke choices that I didn't realize I shouldn't have made. Not because they were too dirty, but because the content I was talking about, they literally didn't get it. Like I had a punchline where you had to know what cucking is, and like I'm looking at a sea of old white people who are just like, we have no idea what you just said.
We're gonna pretend to not know. What
They know.
Luckily,
they're the ones who invented it back in the 70s. Let me tell you.
The professional I am, though, I got this lady in the front row to pull out her phone and Google it. It made for a very funny moment. And then later on, whenever I had some more trouble with one of my jokes, I got to do a callback and be like, break out the Google machines, ladies, So we had a good time and it was a fun show. 100, I'll do it 100 times out of 100, but a learning experience where it's like, because I'm not a clean comic, that's going to happen to me sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I love cooking. Big fan, dude.
So
Top 10.
I want to bring this up because we haven't gotten a chance to talk about it on the show here. But it was announced a couple of weeks ago that At Midnight is going to come back on CBS after Colbert. He's like the executive producer and bringing the show back. Do you pretty
is Chris? What's the guy's name?
I don't think Chris Hardwick is going to be. I don't think he's going to be the host, but you never know. I don't know.
So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of those style of shows, especially when you book comedians to be on the show.
Well, that's the thing.
Right?
Like, I feel like when that show comes back, that's going to be one of the best showcases for new comedians on like a mainstream, television network. Because I watched that show religiously for the 4 years it was on Comedy Central. Like, that's how I found most of the comedians that I like was on that show.
Yeah. Can you imagine like Mark Norman doing that?
No, dude, they wouldn't be able to air it. They would not be able to air it, dude. That is a downside of that, is like some of the best working comics today would not be able to do like a riff off the cuff show like that because you just couldn't air it. Like, Like Mark
Well,
Norman,
I'm pretty
Joe List.
sure that show.
List is.
I'm pretty sure the way they do that show is they'll give the comedians like, all right, here's what we're going to be talking about on the show, and they'll give them time before they, film it to be like, here, write your stuff out and try not to be awful. Like you can get to an edge, but you can't go over that edge, or it won't be able to be on TV.
Well, it's crazy how fast that kind of changed too. Because I recently rewatched Tough Crowd. Are y'all familiar with that?
Love it. Yeah.
Dude, but also that could not play on TV today.
Yeah.
Like it's just too controversial. So it's crazy how much things like that have changed. But that had like Jim Norton, Rich Voss, Nick DiPaolo, who is crazy. Like the stuff he says makes like it's weird because I don't get offended by stuff, but like I still have those guttural reactions to things that shouldn't be said. So like I'll watch some of these old Tough Crowd clips and Nick DiPaolo says stuff that makes me go, who?
Yeah, but all of those guys were on at
who's
midnight.
watching me watch this right now? Because I might get in trouble for watching this.
Yeah, but all those guys were on at midnight at one point,
exactly,
and like they didn't go overboard.
Which I feel like at midnight is just the evolution of like what a tough crowd is.
Yeah,
because back then in the 90s or early 2000s, like that's what everyone wanted to see in comedy was tough crowd, and then it evolves into something like at midnight in the early 2010s.
Faster,
that's what everyone wants to see.
It's more like mimetic, right? It's more like
right.
viral.
It's meme culture. Yeah. It's off the dome. It's only 30 minutes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm excited they're bringing it back. If they're not doing it with Chris Hardwick, I might not watch it. I mean,
I'm a fan of his, man. He's funny. Another 100% clean comic, right? That guy's
pretty much.
Yeah,
he which he went through all that stuff with his ex or whatever, canceling him or whatever, and then it turns out that she was a lying piece of shit. But like he never came back from it. Still hardly.
Yeah. Well, why would he want to? Everybody turned on him.
Yeah.
So it's like, screw all of you.
Right. Tyler, when was the last time you shit your pants?
Again, we're going back to this well.
As an adult? Has that happened as an adult?
Ask Jacob.
I'm sure it has.
Tyler, I'm looking at you right now, and I can tell you it's happened as an adult. When was the last time you shit your pants?
I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think if it has happened as an adult. I'm sure it has, but like over 10 years probably, because I can't even think.
Well, here, I'll present you a moral quandary, if you will. So there are some people in this world who think that in any circumstance, no matter how sick you are, no matter, you may have food poisoning, the nearest bathroom may be 2 interstate exits away. They think it's never acceptable for a grown man to shit in his pants. But there are some people like me who believe that accidents happen. And not only do they happen to everybody. And not only do they happen to everybody, it's perfectly okay.
I mean, I'm with you. Obviously, it's perfectly okay, but it is embarrassing. But also, I have good control over my asshole, Jacob. So I feel like you're somebody who doesn't, and your stance is very tainted by that. Pun intended.
Okay, let me amend some things here, okay? If you have food poisoning and you're like, you're volcano shitting, like out of both ends, it's just like spewing. And for some reason you're on the interstate driving somewhere. Okay, if your exit is like 12 miles away, okay, I get it if you shit your pants. Okay, I get it. It's understandable. Okay. But if you're just at a comedy show and you shit your pants and you're like, I had to go take my underwear off and throw them in the garbage because I shit my pants. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable behavior as an adult human being.
It happened while I was the host and before the show started. I just shit my pants at the bar talking to
Hey,
people.
here's the problem.
Unacceptable.
And I said before I left, I think I just shit my pants and then went in the bathroom and I had shit in my underwear.
The reason that's unacceptable is because that show's not going to start without you, dude. Just take care of business.
But here's the thing, like I had a great opening bit about how I just shit my pants and
Yeah.
I encouraged everyone to
But
go into
Tyler-
the men's room and look for my shitty
Tyler,
boxers
here's
in
the thing.
trash can.
It wasn't a one-time deal. Like, this happened like 3 times.
Yeah,
Over the
3
course
weeks in
of, like, a
row on a
week.
Tuesday.
I mean, can we talk about how much this says about your diet?
Yes! Thank you!
I would
Thank
prefer
you.
we didn't. But here's the crazy thing, dude. I shit my pants 3 weeks in a row on a Tuesday.
Dude,
What?
On a Tuesday every single week.
Eat a fucking vegetable, man. Come on.
No. How about that? There's your counter offer.
All right, I have a story I want to run past you guys before we get out of here. This popped up. This is from Popular Mechanics. And I don't know why this is a Popular Mechanics article, but highly intelligent and possibly invincible super pigs are invading America. Originally crossbred between, it's a mix of a domestic pig and a wild boar. Helped farmed pigs grow larger and tolerate the cold temperatures of Canada. Dropping the market about 2 decades ago led some farmers to let their hybrid pigs run free. Now they're very free, according to Field and Stream. The super pigs are coming south, likely headed to Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Michigan. The problem, they're proving hard to eradicate because they can survive in such cold climates.
So here's the thing, dude. They're going to make it as far as Lafayette, Louisiana, and Tyler and his friends are going to find a way to either fuck them or eat them.
You think they're getting past Ted Nugent in Texas?
Well, here's
How
the
about
thing.
this? Can we just call it what it really is? I mean, they're saying pigs, but is this just about cops?
Ooh.
Oh.
Let's see. Wild hogs feed on anything. They gobble up tons and tons of goslings and ducklings in the spring. They can take down a white-tailed deer, even adult.
Dang.
They can gobble
So-
up these nuts. Come on with it, baby. Let's
So
go.
if we
Coming
could
from-
get
they're
these
coming
to
from
Louisiana, maybe they could take care of the nutria population.
Well, I mean, there's so many places in Louisiana and Texas you can shoot hogs crazy. I don't think there's a limit because they're such a problem
Yeah.
where they are. But yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna stop them. Somebody will get in a helicopter and mow them down before they get down here. I feel like.
So do you think eventually if we keep these super pigs, do you think if they get enough, if they keep breeding and their intelligence gets higher, do you think they're gonna make a super pig where they get like human level intelligence, and then we're having to like wars against
Well,
smart pigs?
We're having war pigs
yeah, war pigs
by
baby.
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, generals gathered.
I'm not scared of pigs because they don't have thumbs. Here's the thing. You could be as smart as you want to be, but if you can't hold something, I ain't scared of you, dude. Like, yeah, if it's just you and me in the woods, not good, but I got tools, right? So my army versus the pigs could be as smart as they want. They're not holding guns.
So what do you think is going to happen first? Are we going to have to fight AI, or are we going to have to fight super pigs?
What makes you think they're mutually exclusive, Jason?
That's what if they work together? I think
Ooh.
that's the fear. Right?
What if the AI? What if the pigs are the product of the AI, and they're going
Right.
to control the pigs to take over the human population?
Now, if the pigs evolve to have thumbs, again, I'm going to bring this back to thumbs. You got to be able to hold something.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What if they keep crossbreeding these things until eventually they grow a fucking thumb? We're done. We're done as a species.
They start walking on hind legs.
I think Jacob's
Just like everybody's scared to eat bacon.
I don't know why
That's-
you wanted to end the episode talking about fucking robot pigs. Jason.
I don't know. AI is scaring me, man. Did you know that with the have you heard the voice shit that you can do now, where you send like you put in like a minute long sample Like we could take this podcast and put like a minute-long sample into it, and it will perfectly recreate me and Jacob's voices and make us say anything that whatever.
Yeah, I think that's problematic.
Yeah,
I
think
it's problematic.
I think you'll find me saying worse shit on this podcast than whatever they're going to generate me saying.
But it's
It'd be
scary
pretty tame.
because what if, like, in the future, they're gonna perfect like the face swap shit. Like, what if you get like a FaceTime call from like a relative, but it's not really your relative? It's like a fucking AI bot, and they fish you for like all your information and shit. They like kill your mom or something. I don't know.
Fucking like Terminator.
Yeah,
or like
exactly.
C2 Judgment Day. It's like, your mother is dead.
What's wrong with Wolfie? Wolfie's fine, hon. Your parents are dead.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why the Terminator kept cooking in that scene?
I want to know that too. I never thought about that before now.
like why keep making macaroni or whatever it was?
No, he was chopping up like some veggies for like a stew.
Right.
What does he have, like a catalog of recipes up in there? Like that's
it's like, I can never leave a stew unseasoned. Like,
yeah,
I can't just walk out of here with this left undone.
Didn't they do Terminators have to eat in order to, because like they're covered in living flesh? Like, how do they keep the flesh like fresh and not like rotten?
They probably moisturize.
Because remember, RoboCop had to eat baby food in order to like keep his like
right, but he had
himself.
he had like human insides though.
Yeah. Which was a huge oversight. You would think that, if there was a part of the human that you would get rid of, it's the insides.
See, that's what I didn't understand, like, between the old one and the remake. In the original one, like, there was a whole part of the movie where they're like, he still had his left arm or some shit like that when they were building him, and they're like, get rid of it. Like, so they cut the dude's arm, because, they blew his one hand off. He had his other hands, and they cut his other arm off. And then in the remake, in, like, what was that, 2014 or whatever, they kept the hand, like, the still human hand. Like, why would you do like that? That's a waste. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, give me a better hand.
Yeah. Give him a good, like, robot hand.
Like Luke.
Yeah. I mean, it just wouldn't feel the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he didn't have a wiener because there's no reason to have a hand at that point.
RoboCop is kind of like a super pig, right?
Yes, RoboPig. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know.
I don't think we're talking about comedy anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on the end of the episode. Tyler, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Hell yeah. This is fun. Anytime.
Anything you wanna pimp or plug before we get out of here?
I do have some big stuff coming up. Opening for Rich Voss in Lafayette at the Acadiana Center for Arts on April 13th. On April 21st, I'm hosting for Sam Talent. Super excited about that. And then, of course, this weekend, I'm sure this will be out, huh? This will get dropped.
Yeah.
This will come out Wednesday.
This weekend, Bobby Kelly, Club 337 in Lafayette. You can buy tickets to all that at LafayetteComedy.com. I've got a little page on there too. You can go find out what I'm doing. Yeah.
Where should people follow you?
Appreciate y'all.
To make it
at
easy.
TheTylerA. TheTylerA on everything.
Awesome. Jacob,
Venmo
what you got coming up to pimp or plug?
Dude, I'm just doing this podcast right now, man. I'm trying to get some stuff booked. Trying to maybe get my way over to Pensacola for a couple of shows. We'll see what happens. But we've got some pretty cool guests coming up for you guys in March.
And for me, I got the Falls from Grace show March 18th at Rockin' the Sound. You can get tickets right now at thesound228.com. All the VIP tickets are sold out, but all general admission is still available. So go get your tickets now. And I plan on, after this show, once everything's kind of calmed down, I plan on getting back on the stage and start doing some comedy for a bit, because I didn't want to get attacked for anything, so I stopped getting on stage for a while. Jacob got beat up, and we did.
I didn't get beat up. I got in fights. Okay.
Hey, you need to stop talking about your wife like that.
Yeah.
Or your girlfriend.
Yeah, right. I need to start talking about everyone's life party.
But on that note, go follow at TheTylerA wherever on Twitter and Instagram, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. If you want to email us, you can email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. Go to openmicers.com is our website. You can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/ompodcast. And, of course, BResCoffeeCo.com and use the code OMPodcast to check out for 10% off your order, and you can get our own special brand of coffee. And we will see you guys next week.
I heard that.
All right, and that was it. That's the show.
Oh yeah, that was fun, y'all.
And, thank you guys for watching on Twitch and everybody watching on YouTube later on. We will see you guys next